Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück bei Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Ich denke, wir stehen jetzt kurz davor zu resten, denn wir können keine andere Geschichte mehr anfangen und wir werden sehen, ob jetzt Sophies Geschichte eine extrem interessante Wendung nehmen wird. Wir werden sehen. Schauen wir rein. You wake up. This is not your haven. It's a cramped space. You try to move your arms and find they are tied to your body. What the fuck? You can barely bend your legs. When you try to stretch your neck, you hit a cold ceiling. You can't quite believe it, but this is a coffin, or something close enough to it. It vibrates slightly, but you can't hear any sounds coming from outside. It's entirely dark. Ich calle nicht out. Das wird wahrscheinlich irgendeiner von hier Callaghans Schergen sein. Try to break out. You kick the front of the container. The only reaction is a dull metallic sound. You try using your fists, but there's just not enough room to get a good punch in. Oder die Second Inquisition ist das. Wir werden sehen. It seems pretty hopeless. Some more tries. Nothing. This is bad. Suddenly the container is moved slightly. A moment of silence, an indistinct male voice shouting. A muffled shot. Silence again. Ich hoffe mal, dass der Sheriff jetzt mal da ist, wenn man ihn braucht. The lid comes off. What the... D'Angelo tatsächlich. Ach, geil. Errungenschaft freigeschaltet. Trouble is my business. Sehr schön.
Well, I'll be damned. The shifty fucker delivered the goods.
Oh Mann, ich dachte nicht, dass ich wieder D'Angelo vorlesen muss. Ach, geil. Mit Agatha auch noch. Arcane Support. Errungenschaft freigeschaltet. Do we have them?
We gotta scram and fast. Follow us.
Wie ich es beim letzten Mal gesagt habe, jetzt kommt die Coterie zusammen. Sehr geil. Ach scheiße, jetzt habe ich Hope natürlich irgendwie nicht dabei, obwohl Agatha hatte auch noch eine Story offen. Ich bin gespannt. Lesen wir weiter. Seeing their faces is surprising, even more so in these circumstances. However, you realize the immediate danger and follow your companions out of the car and down a street in North Bronx. The van has crashed into another car, a familiar face that of Kaiser's ghoul. Jackie stumbles out of the wrecked sedan and slinks away into the darkness before you can call after him. Der Typ hat uns okay. The three of you jog away toward the line of the trees and take shelter under some branches. Just as you hear a chopper approaching, its searchlight illuminates the wrecked van and moves toward you.
Lay low.
D'Angelo does his disappearing trick and vanishes from sight. You look to Agathon, who seems to be fiddling with a pocket mirror. He breaks it and suddenly disappears from sight. You're left alone with just seconds to make your move before the spotlight finds you. Dive under a nearby bush. Seeing no better option, you find the nearest bush and dive right under it. It's probably not the best or smartest thing to do, but you have to trust your gut. The illumination passes only inches away from you, but it's just a pattern of light on the ground. The trees block a good portion of it. It doesn't dwell on you. It doesn't seem like they've spotted you or any of your companions. Das Gute ist, Wärmebildkameras helfen jetzt nicht, weil wir haben genau die Temperatur, die in der Umgebung vorherrscht. The helicopter flies on, its searchlight frantically moving through the vicinity as your companions once again appear in your proximity. Hubschrauber heißt eigentlich wahrscheinlich Second Inquisition.
Nice job, kid. They seem to be moving on. Come on, before this SI fucks change their mind.
Second Inquisition, SI. Wait, the SI? Wait, the Second Inquisition? What do they have to do with anything?
Wait here, both of you. Agathon, fill them in. I'll go scout ahead.
the Second Inquisition. They raided your haven, immobilized you, and were planning on taking you upstate to a secure facility. For further examination, I'm guessing. Kaiser let me know that you were in trouble. If they hit my haven, then what about Sophie? Is she safe? I spoke to the High Regent last night, and should have probably mentioned it if something happened to your patron.
Hey, I saw Kaiser pull up. Come on, time to blow this joint.
Kaiser's familiar car stops nearby and the back door opens. Your allies usher you inside and join you. Being inside this mobile fortress never felt like a relief until now.
Hey, Fletchling, miss me?
Muss ich versuchen, eine andere Stimme als die Angela zu machen. Not really, but I will say this, I'm glad you're here.
Well, I'm not overfly fan of making licks out of covered SI transports, so I consider this an investment.
Natürlich tut er das.
You're here now because I told your buddies that you were neck deep in shit. That when you were in a one-way ticket to Hurtwell, Pennsylvania. I broke you out as a favor, now you owe me big.
Wahrscheinlich hat er das im Hintergrund sogar angeleiert. How the hell did you know the SI broke into my haven and took me away?
Is that piss-poor attempt an insult, Fletchling?
Er ist ein Nosferatu, das war eine dumme Frage.
I've kept eyes on you ever since that little job you did for me in Nolita. You know, in case I needed you for something else. I had to know your comings and goings. I have a good idea of why the SI hit you, Stevie. Not that there aren't tons of good reasons for it. It might have been one of these, for instance.
The screens in Kaiser's car flicker, and each of them now shows a short-looped clip of you getting into a fight, feeding using one of your powers.
You haven't exactly keep a low profile, Fletching. I get it. You're new to this. You didn't know better, yada yada yada. The fact is the SI has tons of this stuff. Security camera footage, YouTube videos posted by onlookers, social media posts from victims, you name it. Like I said though, I don't think any of these did you in. Zips up happen. Not to you though, right? I always wondered how is it that you can't drive a pompously luxurious limo around New York City and not get caught? What's your secret? Body doubles? Decoy cars?
Der ist gut. Kaiser smiles, going for that anthropomorphic piranha look we saw a few times before.
You do know what I killed the cat, don't you, Mr. Finch?
D'Angelo freezes and scratches his face, looking fiercely at the other Nosferatu. You notice that his hands are shaking.
Well, do you? Stop shedding on the upholstery and answer. Or should I use your given name too? Yeah, I know why the cat croaked. You would, wouldn't you?
You never seen D'Angelo serve anyone a death stare quite like the one he's shooting Kaiser now.
As much as I enjoy tamping your overinflated ego, we're nearing our destination, so I think I'll move on. The reason I need you walking and talking, Stevie, is to test a hypothesis of mine. For that, I need you to finish what you were tasked to do. So first things first. Here.
He hands you a phone. The number has already been dialed. You hear the tone. Somebody picks up. Who is this? It's me, Sophie. Stevie, are you okay?
They're fine and dandy.
Kaiser? What are you doing on this line?
What do you think? It's my phone your protege is using, so keep it snappy. Operating a secure network ain't cheap. Come on, Stevie, spit it out.
Kaiser saved from the SI. Das sind feine Unterschiede. Hiermit würde ich nicht lügen. Die könnten mich aber nur sichern wegen ihm. Kaiser saved me from the Second Inquisition, Sophie. I've got out because of him. Your companions look at one another dejectedly. Aber die haben mir das doch erzählt. SI? That's what I feared. Listen, the plan. We need to do it tonight. But if the Inquisition is involved, and you broke out, they'll be looking for you, so we can't meet in public. I have a place in mind, but... Kaiser, are you still listening?
Would I tell you if I wasn't?
Stevie, call this number from where you visited before last we spoke. I'll come pick you up. She hangs up.
And that's that. Gotta tell you, kid, this entire conversation has my curiosity, alright?
I'm more interested in what our next move is.
Your next move is keeping your ass a seat in this luxury vehicle while a mutual acquaintance continues with their night. If my intel is worth a damn, your next stop, Stevie, is right about here.
The car comes to a stop and the door opens. Outside you see the street leading to Solids and Stripes, Torque's pool pub.
Well, you need me to kick you out?
How the fuck do you know about my visit here 2 nights back?
I might have mentioned before that knowing shit is my kind of business. Plus, you didn't exactly make it much of a secret now, did you?
Das war das, was ich letztens gesagt habe. Es ist immer 2, 3, 4 Nosferatu irgendwo. Der Typ hat echt Ahnung von seinem Business, ey.
The clock is ticking. I think I know what Sophie wants to do tonight. And if I'm right, tonight's the last chance you've got. If you want to say bye to our buddies before you go, that's fine by me. But that scullery of yours is pretty hectic, so you better do it now, it's Graham.
Thank you, companions, for the help. You thank both of your companions for their assistance. Without them, you wouldn't be here now. Kaiser makes a gagging gesture and urges you to step out of the car. You turn around and make your way to the bar. The door closes behind you and Kaiser's limo starts moving again. You hope your companions won't have to pay too high of a price for helping you. The Solids and Stripes is pretty much abandoned tonight, with only the bartender and one bleary-eyed local watching an old Bogart movie on the bar screen. You ask to use the phone and call Sophie first. Yes? I'm here. Are you on your way? Yes, we'll be there in about 15 minutes. Notify Torque. If he's not there, we need to talk soon and move quickly. She hangs up. You tell the bartender to notify Torque. Just like the anarch leader mentioned you should. The man makes a short call. You only hear somebody picking up, but no words exchanged. The owner is on his way right now. Can I get you anything while you're waiting? Ich bin aber eigentlich voll, obwohl... Actually, do you serve the, special stuff? The bartender raises an eyebrow. The special reserve, you mean? Sorry, I can only serve that to a narrow selection of the owner's friends. Listen, it's been a rough night. Give me a break, please. Just a sip. I don't know, really, I shouldn't. Oh, what the hell. You really do like you need it. Look like you need it. He takes out a bottle from a safe behind the counter and pours a bit of brown liquid into a glass. It's whiskey. Der hat echt keine Ahnung, oder? There, enjoy. Your disappointment is palpable. At least the smell is nice. Torque comes in some 10 minutes later without Mia. He tips his head to you, puts a hand on the bleary-eyed patron's shoulder and says something to him under his breath. They both laugh. Marty, how's the night going? Quiet, sir. Just how you like it, huh? Torque notices the untouched glass with a bit of whiskey in it that you persuaded the bartender to pour. For me? You shouldn't have. He takes the glass and drinks the liquid, moving it around in his mouth before swallowing. He looks you in the eye. Sure, I won't keep it in forever, but the night when I don't enjoy the taste of good whiskey is the night when I truly consider myself damned. Well, Stevie, I believe you wanted me here for a reason. Let's hear it. You're about to tell him what brought you here, when the doors of the bar open and Sophie walks in, all splendor and charisma. The patron's eyes are now glued to her, and so are the bartenders. Torque isn't happy with the sight. Well, this isn't what we agreed on, Stevie. Care to explain? Torque meets Sophie. Sophie meets Torque. We had to improvise. Things got complicated. We had to improvise. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I believe Stevie already told you why I'm here. Not in any detail, and the circumstances of our meeting were supposed to be different. So, Miss Langley, tell me why I shouldn't ask you to leave and kick out your prodigy while I'm at it. So, you will like what I have to say. Yeah, I've heard that line 100 times, but 99 of those ended with somebody getting hurt. And that's not something I'm in the mood for tonight. We're wasting time. There's a unique opportunity we should take advantage of. And we only have an hour or so to discuss it before it will be time to act. My drive is waiting outside. Wait a goddamn minute. First of all, I'm not going to anywhere without Mia. That was the deal. Second, it's Stevie who was supposed to do the driving, not your servant. Both serve me, so really it's of little difference. The circumstances changed and we had to adapt. Don't be stubborn, foolishness does not suit you. I have a secure spot in mind where we can talk. I will stop you right there. Talk is seething, but he's keeping a lid on his anger. His voice barely changes. My conditions were clear. The way I hear it, you want to break each one of them. I see no reason at all to agree to any of this. I believe I will be staying put tonight. You have places to be, yes? Torque, you're throwing away the only chance you have a challenge in Callahan. Don't be a fool. The lid comes off. Call me a fool. One more time, woman, and that's not the only thing I'm going to be throwing. Jetzt heißt es Farbe bekennen. Ich kann auch neutral bleiben. Ich bleibe auf Sophies Seite. Torque, listen to Sophie. You can't afford to miss this opportunity. Callahan has to be stopped. I did not ask for your opinion, fledgling. If death stares could actually kill, he'd be decapitated by this. Sophie smiles. Isn't that just typical? You're all for democracy and the rule of the many, but only as long as they vote your way. Dissenting voices are silenced. You know better than Callahan. Fuck this! Torque takes a bottle off the counter and breaks it over the bar. With a jagged piece of glass in his hand, he points at Sophie. You two have precisely until the count of 5 to get out of here before I cut you up in little pieces. 1. You wouldn't dare. Try me. 2. Shots break the front windows and flashbangs goes off in the room, changing the bar into a space of white light and ringing noise. Das war garantiert Kaiser, ich wette es mit euch. You feel somebody tugging you back and are thrown behind the bar. More shots ring out, bottles break, the TV shatters into pieces, the wooden bar splinters. Your side comes back, but you think you've gone deaf, because suddenly the room is silent. You see Torque beside you and Marty, the bartender, bleeding out on the floor. You look over to the bar. Sophie is standing there, her dress partially tattered, a visible hole in her leg. She is like the heart of a supernova, entrancing, unavoidable, beautiful, and terrifying. In front of her are 8 operatives, looking like a private military force, just standing there, paralyzed by Sophie's magnificence. Torque, you still here? Yeah. Would you kindly show your guests some hospitality? Sure thing. The anarch is gone in the blink of an eye, and he reappears next to one of the soldiers. The armor-clad operative's head disappears in a puff of blood and bone. The same thing happens to the second, the third. You hear the radios go off on the other soldiers' shoulders. A panicked voice pleading them to wake up. The fourth head pops, the fifth. They finally realize what's happening, but it's too late. The sixth man is beheaded. By what you now see, it's just Torque's bare-fisted punch. Torque stops by the seventh man, rips something off his neck and bites down. Sophie walks over to the last man and has him kneel in front of her before biting as well. On your right, a man in a full body armor emerges from the back door, raising his assault rifle. What the fuck? Shield Torque at Sophie. It's not smart, but it's what your instincts tell you to do. You jump in front of the soldier just as he pulls the trigger. Bullets sink into your body, ripping and tearing your flesh, each projectile a microbomb exploding inside you. A combat knife crashes through the soldier's visor and into his skull. You turn around. Torque is grinning. He mouths something under his breath. Langley? Sophie wipes her mouth of blood and looks at him. That meeting is still an item? Yes. I'll take it. Splendid. Torque walks behind the bar and checks on the bartender. You see the anarch open his own wrist and feed blood to the wounded man. Drink up, Margie. We'll make you feel better. Get the hell out of here and wait for Mia. She's coming, and she'll know what to do. Torque? Yeah, coming. Take the back door. Stevie, come on. You slink back into an alley behind the bar, leaving 10 bodies and 1 grievously wounded ghoul behind. Nobody stops you from circling around the block and finding your way to Sophie's car. Gregory drives away casually, as if this was just another late night drive, and not the crowning of a desperate, complicated evening. Sophie brings you all to a luxurious apartment in Manhattan's Upper West Side. The way she explains it, the vampire who owned it left the city a few years ago and gave away spare keys to a few trusted compatriots. It's been used sporadically since. Fancy. You like it? It always felt too modern for my tastes, but what's important is that it's secure. As long as nobody followed your car here, or the fledgling, trouble follows with this one, wherever they go. Even if that's the case, we have very little time to conduct our business here anyway. And we'll be leaving soon, I hope. So let's begin. Puh, endlich mal wieder was zu tun. Finally, this better be worth all the trouble. Stay silent. Jetzt, wenn der Kuchen redet, dann die Krümelpause. You look at Sophie, excited. Finally, you will learn what it is that you've been working towards for more than a week, and what it is that Kaiser wanted you to participate in. I have it on good authority that Boss Callahan is bloodbound to Prince Panhard. Say what? Torque sucks air in loudly. That's an accusation on half there, Langley. Got proof? No, but we're just a boat ride away from getting it. What is that supposed to mean? Stevie, the address that I pronounced from Kaiser was the meeting spot for Panhard's and the Baron's regular sharing of blood. And other bodily fluids, if the rumors are true. Wait, Kaiser knew about this? Is there anything that insufferable clump of dead skin doesn't know in the city? He knows things, but only shares them if you pay. Neither the prince nor Callahan can touch him. He's too useful. Huh. So, other than us, he's the only one who knows you wanted the address? That makes him dangerous. Yes, as ever. If he intended to sell this information, he already did. It was just a part of the risk. I don't like that he's involved. But then again, I've been in this city long enough to know he's usually involved in some way. What was the address he gave you? They meet regularly on Ellis Island. In fact, their next scheduled meeting starts in just around a half an hour. Hot damn, I'm guessing you want to crash that meeting. Why? So you can see the proof for yourself, so that I can make sure too, and so that I have an extra pair of eyes for Panhard to consider when I present to her my ultimatum. Sieht so aus, als würde Sophie gerne Prinz werden wollen, nicht wahr? The prince must abandon her seat and leave New York City. She can go wherever she pleases, but if she stays, the entire court will know, and the next prince might not look favorably on her past. Dealing with anarchs, especially so closely, is a punishable offense in the Camarilla, as I'm sure you've heard. So I did. Torque strokes his beard and looks intently at Sophie. What exactly are you trying to accomplish here? Say you remove Panhard, and I even remove Callahan, then what? Torque, did you ever wonder why Callahan is keeping you in check? Because I wondered why the prince condemns anarchs during her visit to the Elysium, but doesn't allow her the Ivory Tower to challenge you. She or they have engineered the status quo not for the good of their sects, but for private gain. They help us all in line because it lets them hold on to power that much longer. And your goal is what? Make this Cold War turn hot? Not a great plan. You cammies will get your butts kicked out of New York City in no time. If your anarchs manage to organize, which I doubt you will, at any rate, it's a risk and I'm willing to take. I don't stand alone in this. This entire operation has been years in the making. Torque, I'm offering you a chance to square things with Callahan and level the playing field. If we get rid of these two, we can start on equal footing at the next stage of this dance macabre. Are you copying the same status quo? How do I factor in this plan? Why I'm here listening to this? Do I factor into this plan at all? Yes. We will be taking you with us to Ellis Island, both as another set of eyes to witness the Prince and Baron in the act, and as a bit of added security. I don't think Helene or Callahan would dare to lay a finger on me, but they will not find me unprepared. You know, after all those years spent in Callahan's shadow and taking part in all the kindred dick measuring contests, I should expect a ruse, some ploy to kill me in any out-of-the-way place. That's our inherent paranoia talking. My gut tells me it's time to get this show started. I do hope you have a boat nearby, Langley. Sophie smiles mischievously. Of course I do. It's waiting for us by the pier. Lead the way then, moonlight's burning. The three of you leave the apartment and walk towards the small pier. Nobody seems to be following you. You get on a small patrol boat and double time it through the Hudson's cold, dark waters. Das wird jetzt interessant. Das wird eine etwas längere Folge, wie ich meine. Out of all the places in New York City where the Prince and the Baron could meet, and it's Ellis Island. A landmark with a dark past, a museum on one hand, a dilapidated piece of history on the other. You leave the boat and make your way to the southern part of the island, paying no heed to the renovated tourist attractions on the northern side. You expected some resistance, a night guard, a helicopter flying overhead, or maybe an NYPD patrol boat. Nothing. The island seems completely deserted. It's clear this sets Sophie on edge. She's moving as quietly and subtly as ever, but you can see she's eager to reach the particular house her intel pointed out. Torque is following suit, grimly determined, flashing his piercing gaze all over, still clearly uncertain that this isn't some kind of con. Finally you see it. Light coming from a window in one of the buildings at the edge of the island. The three of you slowly creep closer to the building and take a look inside the window. There it is, Callahan, kneeling in front of the prince, sucking on Panhard's wrist, both fully clothed. A small blessing. Torque makes his move, and before Sophie can stop him, he busts through the building doors. It all happens very quickly. Torque grabs Callahan by the shoulders and throws him through the still open door. Callahan hits the ground hard. Torque appears on top of him and starts punching.
You fucker, you piece of shit!
Stop! Oh, not from Prince Panhard, okay. The prince's voice takes hold for just long enough to make Torque relent, which the Baron uses to the fullest. He shoves Torque off of himself and tries to bite down. Prince, call off your lapdog! Langley! What is the meaning of this? The two Anarch breaks apart, both wounded, but neither quite done yet. They look at one another with a pure hatred.
Kill the bitch, Helene, but leave the fletching to me. Right after I deal with this shit stain, I'm gonna...
A shrill, unpleasant laugh fills the air. You know who it belongs to. So entertaining, truly. It feels almost a shame to break up the spectacle, but Alice... Thomas?
Who the fuck is this joker?
Yes. I don't think we met. Though I did hear a lot about you, Mr. Torque. My name is Thomas Arturo, and I... Callahan uses the moment... who throws the boss into the lawn, where the two exchange blows once again. Helene, if you'd be so kind as to ask your friend to not hurt our guest too much. Callahan, don't kill him! This time Callahan comes out on top and grabs Torque in an iron hold. Your companion struggles, but can't quite break away.
I will not be denied, Helene. Not this time.
You will do as I command. And she will do as I command her, Douglas, old boy. What? Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted, I feel like I need a break of this little spectacle. It's been going on for much too long. You think you're so smart, Langley, and your clique. I figured out there was something fishy going on all your own, but you were always working with just a piece of the puzzle. Wasn't she, Stevie? Sophie looks to you, shocked and disappointed. This is not happening. What are you... What I'm talking about, you ask? You fledgling. You don't know, how could you? Only I knew. And your sire, of course. They are the one who agreed to embrace you. after some negotiations. Alter, was ein abgefuckter Plan. You hear a scream and curse. It's Callahan, whose arm's been nearly ripped off his body. Torque breaks out of the Baron's grasp, but doesn't continue the attack. Instead, he's at the edge of the water in the blink of an eye and disappears into the Hudson. The only trace left of him is his fedora. Leave him! Why can't you just trust the actors to play their roles, no matter? A problem for another night. He'll reach his allies. He'll tell everyone of this. Let him, and why not? Nobody will believe him. Besides, his nights are numbered now that he's in the SI's side. Sophie looks at you. How could you, Stevie? I saved you. Arturo suddenly appears next to her and slapped her in the face. Did you hear anything I said, Langley? Nothing? It's not them. It is me. Thomas, what? No, shut up. Shut up. I'm talking now. You have played this game all wrong. You're playing on one board, but you're just a pawn on another, bigger board. See? You never realize the people at the top simply flip the chessboard over and punch you in the face whenever they don't like how the game's going. He motions to the remaining kindred. The thing is, you weren't even adept at playing the game, you know, Stevie. It's another pawn placed on the board by my associate. You thought they were your piece since you took them in. But who gave you that idea? You returned to the night where you were judged by Prince Panhard. The woman in red, Sophie, somebody speaking to her, a man in glasses. The man standing before you now. This is cruel. We know what's going to happen if only somebody would speak up for the poor child. They could be a useful tool for the Camarilla. Terror creeps into Sophie's face. Of course, those are not the words you heard, were they? No, you were already grasping for some opportunity to further your scheme. But the bait out, and you took it. Hook, line, and sinker. After that, it was only a matter of time before you started using Stevie as your errand girl. No one is quite as easy to track and monitor as a naive fledgling who's just learning the ropes. What is that you want, Thomas? What do I want? Oh boy, the answer's so simple but so hard to put into words. Unstable stability. Cutting-edge tales of thrills and intrigue that push it to the limit, and then return you to the tried and tested status quo, gently, infallibly. A system full of distractingly moving parts which simulate conflicts to convincingly that its users never feel a need to direct their energy towards upsetting the system. Achieving the eternal through the disposable, building a city that's like a ship of Theseus, constantly changing its parts, yet always maintaining the same purpose, serving the same goal at all times. A large-scale infrastructure that has something like an exhaust system for the spirit, something that disperse the toxicity around instead of concentrating in a single place. None of what you're saying makes the slightest bit of sense. Arturo has momentarily stopped his tracks. He stares into the sky for a few seconds before his sad grin appears on his face. Spoken like someone who's never really had what it takes to make it in the big leagues. With a theatrical snap of fingers, he gave a sense of finality. Something's changed in the air. You could swear you saw a shadow move behind Sophie. Goodbye, Sophie. ¿Echas en la sombra? A person appears behind Sophie. You can't believe your eyes. It's Adelaide Davis, holding garden shears in her hands. Ich bin jetzt irgendwie doch schon wieder auf Sophies Seite. Ich dachte ja, die spielt ein richtig krankes Spiel. Aber das ist noch härter. aber Dominate, die ist wahrscheinlich älter als ich. Ich nehme Dominate. Adelaide, stop! You hear the shears snip. Sophie's red hair conceals her face as her head falls, separated from her shoulders. Silence. Arturo's unpleasant laughter erupts right next to you. Oh, Stevie, your career is moving at a breakneck pace. Moving up and up and up. Let me congratulate you to your promotion. You killed her. I didn't. My dear Adelaide did. On my orders, fair enough, but my hands, if not my tongue, are clean. Helene, feel free to leave us and take the Baron with you. Thomas, I don't think you should. Shush, you're just being jealous. Adelaide, escort the prince and dear old Douglas, please. Sure thing, darling. You're left alone next to Sophie's body. You try not to look, but it's hard to ignore her. Leaf frame decomposing in front of your eyes. Her red dress is like a cloth thrown over a mummified corpse. Congratulations, you've won this little game. You set out on a suicide mission and successfully brought down the power-hungry wannabe tyrant, even if it probably wasn't the way you imagined it. Now you're free to enjoy paradise again. Life after death, immortality, eternal youth. What they don't tell you is, of course, living in paradise is inherently sinful when not everyone can partake. But you have time to learn how to live with sin, don't you? He takes a melancholic look at the city skyline surrounding him, the Statue of Liberty and the lights of Manhattan shimmering in the distance. You know, New York taught me to believe in fate. My own life began right here, and it began with utter despair. My first instinct was to drown myself in books and keep reading, and reading until literature gave me the piece of wisdom I needed to go on. Personally, I find reading a silly hobby in retrospect. I always had this minuscule hope that the next sentence I'd read could finally bring me salvation, but it never did. It only gave me fuel for this elevated, righteous, intellectual suffering. But the more I read, the easier it was for me to boil every paragraph down to a power relationship. The characters' influence over each other, the writer trying to impress the reader, etc. The strings everyone pulled started to look like strands that weave into the fabric of fate, and once I saw its beauty, I got teary-eyed. My architect instincts kicked into overdrive. I didn't have to submit to fate. All I had to do was cooperate with it and wait for my time to shine. Give it my input wherever needed until it trusted me to do more. Thomas steps over, what's left of Sophie, wiping his glasses with an elegant cloth from his pocket. And it did. Fate let me look after the city. With my architect's tools, I started quietly, shaping the streets and corridors, while Kaiser and his ilk shaped the information flow. And among many tools this process gave me, one of them was a way to reliably come up with useful agents like you. The method I used were crude at times, but the root was there. All you had to do was follow it. Some people write rulebook passages, the other plan city arteries, wie wir das auch an dem Plan gesehen haben. In the end, the effect is the same. Someone always follows. He puts on the glass and gives you a long, hard look. I've grown fond of you. You've done so well, even when that idiot Callahan tipped off the Inquisition. You still escaped. I like the kind of resourcefulness. I could use that kind of resourcefulness. He uncovers his wrist. Oh nein. Er will uns Blut spinden. So, take my blood. Just enough so we can start off the right foot. As a sign of good faith. A sign that you're ready to play the big leagues. Ready to behold the sights I've prepared for you. Nein? What do you say, Stevie? No! Es ist vorbei! Dang it, Leute. Ihr seht es selber. Wir haben das Spiel durch. Tatsächlich. Holy shit. Okay. Sehr, sehr cool. Sehr, sehr cool. Das offene Ende gefällt mir tatsächlich. Falls ihr es noch nicht wusstet, demnächst soll es ein... wie heißt... Oh, da ist jetzt die Musik etwas laut. Ich mache hier ein bisschen leiser. Falls ihr es noch nicht wusstet, es soll demnächst ein DLC rauskommen. Und zwar geht es dort um, ich weiß nicht, ob es eine Weiterführung dieser Story ist, aber da soll es um die nicht Nosferatu, um die, wie heißen sie noch? La Sombra gehen. Und das werde ich mir natürlich auch holen. Und dann werde ich das spielen. Und euch wieder dabei haben. Ich hoffe, es hat euch Spaß gemacht. Sie danken eigentlich noch dafür, dass man es gespielt hat. What a hell of a ride, würde ich dazu mal sagen. Wow. Am Ende, es fühlte sich schon so wie so ein Ende an. Und ich so, what? Okay. Wir machen das jetzt wie folgt. Diese Episode hier ist zu Ende. Ich werde noch ein Fazit-Video machen zu diesem Spiel. Und ich werde dann nochmal als Bruja anfangen. Und dann werde ich mal versuchen, die Gangrel mit ins Boot zu holen. Sehr cool übrigens vom Spiel, dass wir auch uns entscheiden können, sie nicht mit in die Coterie zu nehmen. Was ich etwas schade fand, war, dass Hope überhaupt keine Rolle mehr gespielt hat. Ich mache noch ein Fazitvideo dazu. Aber danke fürs Einschalten. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York Video, wenn ich mein Fazit dazu dalasse. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.